It's done. Lionel Messi, arguably the greatest player that's ever lived, is a PSG player. Unbelievable. We have Jonathan Johnson here joining us to discuss what this means for PSG as we look ahead to Mauricio Pochettino and the tremendous squad that he has available to him, what it means for Messi and his new teammates, and so much more. This is a packed episode. I can't believe I am saying this. Lionel Messi and PSG. Qué Golazo begins right now. Magic, Jordan, Barkley, Bird, Malone, Ewing. The 1992 Dream Team changed the game of basketball forever. Dream Team, Birth of the Modern Athlete, is now a new 5-part original series streaming exclusively on Paramount+. The documentary takes you deep into the greatest basketball team ever assembled, with never-before-heard audio interviews from the players themselves, hear from the team as they break down the greatest exhibition game ever, Team Magic versus Team Jordan, and how the torch was essentially passed. You can watch Dream Team, Birth of the Modern Athlete, a new 5-part series now streaming exclusively on Paramount+. Hey everybody, welcome to Qué Golazo on this special Qué Golazo, a very important week, a very important summer, and we need the very best. Jonathan Johnson, how are you, my friend? Have you slept?
Not in the last couple of evenings. It's it's been a very crazy time. Certainly one of the more memorable experiences of my time covering the PSG project. But looking forward to a bit of holiday later this week.
Absolutely. And by the way, as you are listening, the Lionel Messi and the PSG deal is not done yet. But this conversation right here on Qué Golazo is about PSG and Lionel Messi and what that would look like from both a perspective on the pitch as well as Pochettino's own situation and looking ahead, of course, to reclaiming Liga. Because remember, PSG are not entering Liga as defending champions. So this is a major thing. So JJ, the first thing I want to ask you is this. We've already talked about how much this means for PSG and Messi. I want to talk about Mauricio Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino entered this, and little did he know that a year from, or a season, or half a season after he entered PSG, that he would also have the kid from Rosario entering, as well as Kylian Mbappé, as well as Neymar and everything else that's come with it, Donnarumma, etc. So what do you think? What is it? I mean, this is a fantastic problem for Pochettino, but what does Pochettino do with PSG with Lionel Messi in it?
Well, obviously, he's absolutely spoiled for choice. I mean, I think if you look at the PSG squad as it stands without any departures, you can make pretty much 2 full starting 11s of very high quality and have the bench to match as well. It's a headache that I think any coach in world football would absolutely love to have at this moment in time. And the only people who are perhaps in a similar situation to him are some international coaches like Didier Deschamps, for example, who has a massive well of talent with the French national team. So Pochettino, it's been an interesting start to life with PSG. Obviously, he arrived mid-season. Like you said, they didn't win the Ligue 1 title. They did manage to win the Coupe de France. They also picked up one of 2 Trophées de Champion because the Trophée de Champion from last season was played sort of just after Pochettino actually arrived. So it's been fairly bumpy. Obviously, there was all that speculation in the summer about Pochettino maybe wanting out. And then, PSG managed to convince him to extend his contract by using the option that they had in the deal from when he arrived. And then the players started to come in, Wijnaldum, Donnarumma, Hakimi, Ramos, and now Messi as well. So it's really funny because there's a lot of sort of coincidences that link Pochettino and Messi. Pochettino was still a player when Messi made his debut for Barcelona. He was playing for Espanyol at that time. They both have the very strong connection with Newell's Old Boys. Obviously, both Argentinians flying the flag in Europe. And I think it's huge for Pochettino because let's be fair to him. He's someone who has achieved good things in the game, managing to take Tottenham to the Champions League final, for example, got PSG playing very well, getting past Barcelona and Bayern Munich in the Champions League before falling short against Manchester City. But there's always this criticism of Pochettino that he's not somebody who brings in major amounts of silverware. And this team, if any team was ever made to dominate both domestically and on the continent, it's got to be this PSG squad when you add Messi to it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many ways that we can go here. Okay, so all right, let's play a fun game here before we get into some other dynamics as well. Because just give me your starting 11 with Messi in it or PSG.
I mean, I'm sort of working over two possible ideas. One would be that Pochettino sticks with the rough 4-2-3-1, which has basically been his go-to formation since he arrived. And when he arrived, he pushed Verratti forward into that makeshift number 10 role. So, obviously, as we've already discussed, there is the possibility that one of Navas or Donnarumma is going to miss out in goal. And then if you're looking at making a back four, you've got Hakimi, who's just come in at a big cost. He's definitely going to start on the right. Then you've got Marquinhos and Sergio Ramos, who would go in the middle. But playing a back four would make it quite complicated to accommodate Ramos, Marquinhos, and Presnel Kimpembe. Now, with Juan Bernat still a way away from being back to full fitness and potential involvement, there is a case for Kimpembe being a solid option at left back, a makeshift option. I don't think he'd be particularly happy about that, but I think it's a possibility. And then you move forward to the midfield. You've got Verratti and Wijnaldum, who would probably be the two best suited players to sort of play in a defensive role. You could make the case for Paredes as well, but I don't think somebody who's as technically limited as Idrissa Gueye is going to get much of a look in, for example. And then when you're moving forward to that attacking unit, I imagine it will probably be Di Maria on the right, Neymar on the left, with Messi in the middle and Mbappe playing in front of him. Now, on paper or in theory, that might work, but Mbappe hasn't exactly shone in the sort of number 9 role so far. And Di Maria, as great as he's been, as fantastic as the years in Paris have been with him, he's looking kind of leggy. He's looking a bit older now, and I'm not convinced that Di Maria is going to be absolutely nailed on in any starting 11. And that brings me to the second potential 11. I think the 3-4-3 is much more workable for PSG with a potential issue on the left-hand side. You're still going to have that battle in goal, but then you can accommodate Marquinhos, Ramos, and Kimpembe in a central defensive three. And then moving forward to the midfield, you've got Hakimi in the middle of the park. He can move up and down. He can put in a shift defensively, but he's also a danger going forward, as we saw when he scored at the weekend. And then you've got, again, Verratti and Wijnaldum in the middle. And then you've got Mbappe and Neymar flanking Messi in the attack. But the only issue there would be the left-hand side, because Di Maria, like I said, he's aging, and it is difficult to see him putting in enough of a defensive shift to essentially play wing-back. So that could bring someone like Kurzawa into play, or Bernat once he returns to full fitness. I mean, I think if he does get back to his best, Bernat, could actually benefit in that sort of formation.
Yeah, here's one thing I'm thinking, because one thing that I've been noticing from Lionel Messi in the last few seasons is aside from the fact that he's a tremendous offensive player and he likes to shift as well, he can just not be in the center. He can go left, he can go right, but he likes to drop deep a lot. He likes to control that ball and also see what's in front of him, allowing other players to come in. So to me, when you think about all this incredible offensive firepower from PSG now, the 3-4-3 makes much more sense, I feel, because then it allows Messi to have a little bit more freedom to drop a little bit deeper and actually alternate. Di Maria, as you rightly mentioned, is the one that I'm looking at saying, where does he fit in all of this? Perhaps not with all due respect, with mid to bottom table teams in League A. Perhaps that's when he gets his starts and Messi can maybe recuperate in a Champions League week. But in a major tournament, in a major game, that's when I think Di Maria is probably going to spend more time on the bench.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And the other thing as well that I would point out, and it's something you always have to offer up as sort of a caveat with PSG, is how often are all of these players going to be fit and available at the same time? We don't see Neymar and Mbappe, regularly available together with the likes of Verratti as well on a regular basis. Certainly not as regularly as PSG fans would like. It was a real struggle for Pochettino in his first 6 months to actually, have a full strength squad available to him to actually pick his starting 11. And I think that's what also makes this so interesting, because Pochettino is not wedded to any system just yet. He's still trying to find that's that strongest starting 11. And with so many new additions to the squad, he's basically starting all over again this season. So I wouldn't expect to see any sort of consistency in his selections until the Champions League group stages kick off. But, also in the debate that we've had about, where Di Maria potentially fits, let's not forget that PSG was sniffing around Theo Hernandez of AC Milan. And, you think about that. If you put him onto that left-hand side, I don't think, I should clarify that I don't think that it will happen now this summer. But if you just have somebody who's a guaranteed presence, like I said, if Bernat made a full recovery, he could fit that role quite well. But I think if you can sort out maybe a more consistent presence on the left-hand side, maybe even experiment with someone like Wijnaldum, that is a very complete lineup, because if Wijnaldum could put in a shift there, you could then bring in somebody quite combative in the midfield like Paredes, and that gives you more of a ball-winning presence.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you this now. I want to focus now more on the individual situation and the individual narrative. The first one is the obvious one, a very close friend of Lionel Messi, Neymar Jr. What does this mean for Neymar? Do you think you'll see a happier Neymar at PSG as well? Obviously just won as well, Copa America, etc. He feels good. What does this mean for him and his trajectory?
I think Neymar's future in Europe now is at PSG. He signed the new contract a couple of months ago. We had to wait for it to be made official, but we did eventually get there. And I think he's in it for the duration now. I think he'll be very happy to see Messi arriving at Parc des Princes. And I think Mbappe will also find it very appealing, the possibility to play alongside Messi, at least for this coming season, if not longer. And it's going to be interesting as well to see sort of how it works out in the attack, because we've seen PSG try to persevere with Icardi. He scored in the opening game of the season this weekend against Troyes, but it's not really worked. Aside from the first few months when he was on loan, it's something that I think, would suit both parties best if they go their separate ways at some point soon when a suitable offer is presented. So, I can't see past the main three attackers being Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, but I do still think that Neymar will be hugely important to this side. We've seen when he is able to put himself at the disposal of the team, it really changes things for PSG. I remember having, we were talking about it with our friend Jimmy Conrad a couple of months ago when PSG overcame Bayern Munich. When Neymar didn't try to do it all himself, really invested himself in the team. That's when he really came to the fore, not necessarily providing goals, but, picking out assists like from Marquinhos away at Bayern Munich. And if he can play that sort of role on a more regular basis, him linking up with Messi and then, exploiting the speed of Mbappe, the possibilities for PSG in attack is frightening.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, here's my other question. One that I feel that needs to be talked about more. We have a former Real Madrid captain, a Real Madrid legend, somebody that commands the dressing room, somebody that's going to be very vocal, somebody that's going to be extremely attentive to what's going on inside and outside of the pitch in Sergio Ramos. Now with a former Barcelona captain, a Barcelona legend. In the universe of universes, we never expected that these two will be teammates, and now they're going to be that. What do you feel about that? And specifically, I'm thinking about, the conversations inside the dressing room, etc. It's incredible to me that we're going to see Sergio Ramos and Lionel Messi in the same team.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I think that they, probably never imagined a day where they might play alongside each other. The one thing that I would say is I think there's always been a mutual respect within the Clásico rivalry between Real Madrid and Barcelona. Obviously, there's a lot of animosity, but it's good animosity. It was competitive. And I think now both players will be able to put those rivalries aside, let bygones be bygones. And come together for the greater collective good. The thing that I'm really interested in is what Ramos, once he actually gets involved and plays some minutes for PSG, and Messi make of the PSG dressing room, because obviously a lot has been made about how sort of the different groups of players, how they blend. We saw under Thomas Tuchel quite a united PSG, which managed to make it all the way to the Champions League final, lost out to Bayern Munich, but then ultimately imploded the following season because they'd really gone as far as they could under the German. And it'll be interesting to see how Ramos and Messi, together with Pochettino, can make sure that everybody stays in line. We saw pretty big-headed Kylian Mbappé this summer at Euro 2020. Some of the stuff that he was doing in front of the press was pretty out of character with what we've seen from him in the early days in his career. And I think, having guys with the experience of Ramos and Messi, it's really going to put a lot of people in the PSG squad in their places. And I think that
humble them. Yeah.
That could really, benefit Pochettino, especially as he tries to stamp his authority on this side. And as I said earlier, actually work out what his strongest 11 is.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. I think the more the likes you have of players like Sergio Ramos, Lionel Messi, like legendary players, it's going to create this humbling experiences, even for the World Cup champion Kylian Mbappé as well.
I think as well, you have to bear in mind how many players in that PSG squad at this moment in time speak Spanish. So the ability for Ramos and Messi to actually take on quite senior leadership roles in a short space of time, the potential is there.
Yeah, absolutely correct. All right, it's prediction time. Just really in initial gut reaction, like I can't believe you're doing this so early, reaction time. All right, is PSG winning the Champions League, Jonathan Johnson, with this team?
I'm going to have to...
That wasn't a pause. That wasn't a frozen. That was JJ really thinking in his head, what am I going to say right now? Come on now. Come on.
Yeah,
listen,
I don't want to...
if PSG with this team don't win the Champions League, you need to make sure that this club retires from the game completely. This is absolutely unbelievable. This squad is ridiculous, and they need to win the Champions League. What are you? Okay, I'll make it easier for you, JJ. What are the chances now of PSG winning the Champions League?
I think the chances have to be massive, and I think if PSG don't capitalize on this squad that they have in the next season or two, and to be honest, I really think it needs to be this coming season. Then I think that there are some really big questions have to be asked. I think it's, like I said, the only potential. If assuming that PSG do go 3-4-3, the only potential area now to strengthen is on that left-hand side. It's as complete a squad as you're ever going to get. I'm sure Pochettino is going to be able to work it out, find a way to make it, fully functional. And, you have to fancy PSG to go all the way in the Champions League and win both competitions domestically. If PSG were to be shown up domestically, that would be outrageous. We can't take anything away from Lille and the fact that they won the title last season because they deserved it. But also the fact remains that it was the worst domestic performance from PSG under Qatari ownership. That won't be acceptable this season. So they absolutely have to make sure that they win both trophies domestically. But they'll be motivated as well, considering that they've now gotten over that hump. They've reached the semifinals, they've reached the final, and I think they'll be motivated based on the disappointment of underperforming against Manchester City last season. Let's not forget that Mbappé was missing in that second leg, and
good point.
He'll feel very motivated. And you've got guys as well, like Messi, who, might be looking at this as their final opportunity to try and win the Champions League one last time. Messi's already made a good start in terms of his Ballon d'Or credentials with the Copa America. So it's a big season for many, many players in this PSG squad. And I don't think that there's really many options other than to get to at least the final and if not win it.
Yeah, absolutely. But can he do it on a cold night in Lorient, JJ?
Well, we will find out.
We will find out. Jonathan Johnson, always a pleasure. Make sure that you follow him on Twitter, John_LeGossip. Read his content, specifically this one, as Lionel Messi and PSG become a relationship. Absolutely amazing. JJ, thank you so much, my friend.
Likewise, thank you very much for having me on. Always a pleasure and looking forward to more of this.
Hey, everybody. I want to thank Jonathan Johnson for joining me today. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/Qué Golazo. You can watch this video and so many others. Spotify, Stitcher. Make sure that you go to cbssports.com and your CBS Sports app. Follow us for the rest of the week as we have plenty of content. Premier League previews, La Liga previews, Serie A, which, by the way, you can only watch on CBS Sports and Paramount Plus, and so much more. Season 2, Qué Golazo. It's going to be ridiculous, and we're here for you for all of it. See you next time.